right, Maya, so let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines football program here for a little bit. This is a program under Harbaugh that's just gotten better and better, and they've continued that trend this offseason with a lot of big-time moves, great moves in the recruiting game, the transfer game, a lot of great news out of Ann Arbor, a lot of momentum building, and we've got another report that shows that Michigan continues to get better and better, and I think Wolverines fans will really appreciate this.
Yeah, Nick, I think this kid that the Michigan Wolverines brought in is going to be very special, and we're going to talk about who it is, where he's playing in just a second here. But I got to ask the fans in the comments below, let's talk defense for a little bit, and let's talk Michigan Wolverines greats. Let me know in the comments below, who's your favorite Michigan linebacker of all time? There's a lot of good ones out there, but let us know in the comments below, who's your favorite Michigan Wolverines linebacker of all time? But Nick, nonetheless, speaking of defense, who have the Michigan Wolverines picked up lately?
Yeah, Miles, that's a great question because it leads directly into the report involving the Michigan Wolverines. If you want to go ahead and throw it up, this is from Hayes Fossa over at On3 Sports. Great follow on Twitter, by the way. Highly recommend for breaking college football news. Here we go. Breaking class of 2024 linebacker Cole Sullivan has committed to Michigan. The 6'4", 200-pound linebacker from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, chose the Wolverines over Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and others. Sullivan is the third linebacker commit to the Michigan's 24 class. All right, Mike. So obviously, anytime you get a commitment, that's great. But there are some interesting things. I'm sure a lot of Wolverines fans are like, well, how big of a deal is this? Because if you look at his rankings, right, this is a guy that, according to 24/7, is a number 57th ranked linebacker, number 17th ranked guy in Pennsylvania, 3-star recruit, right? Far from a big line, top level, headline breaking recruit that Michigan has been able to pull in over the past year or so. I really like this addition for two key reasons. The first one is if you look at the people that were competing against Sullivan in terms of getting him to commit, you look at Notre Dame, Boston College, Duke, Cincinnati, obviously Michigan as well. You're looking at quality academic programs. This is a smart kid. This is a guy that could be, to use the NFL term, a green dot guy. Is he the most athletically gifted 5-star recruit guy in the world? Not necessarily. But he is smart. He can call the defense. He can lead the defense. And you need those kind of players too. Everyone falls in love with we've got an elite 5-star edge rusher or the greatest running back prospect of all time. You need smart players that know how to get people lined up to orchestrate and lead defenses. People forget that this game just isn't about having great athletes and the best athletes, about having the smartest athletes as well. And Sullivan, in my mind, falls directly into that bucket. Plus, he's got pretty good measurables too. 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds, played good college, good high school football in Pennsylvania. So while he's not a headline-breaking guy in terms of recruit, I think he's a really smart pickup, both literally and figuratively, for the Michigan Wolverines football program. Give me your thoughts on Sullivan and just everything with Michigan right now, Mize.
Yeah, Nick, there's a few things here that I thought was kind of interesting. One being that Jim Harbaugh himself was the one to offer a guy like Sullivan. More notably, 3-star guy like that, it's probably going to be position coaches who are going out recruiting these guys. But Jim Harbaugh, back in February, personally offered Sullivan to come to Michigan. And like you said, I have a couple of more schools I wanted to add because going on that slant that we're going at, Wisconsin, Stanford, Duke, Notre Dame are among the schools that he picked or offered him. And he clearly values his education. He had a 4.8 GPA coming out of Central Catholic High School. So he's a very smart guy. That I think it shows Michigan's, academic prowess a little bit here. This is a kid who is extremely smart, coming out of high school. He really, really values education, and he picks a school like Michigan over Stanford or Duke, who are maybe more notably known for having, elite-level educations. Michigan is very good, and obviously Sullivan noticed that as well. And one other thing that he has under his belt is that he is a multi-sport athlete. He played basketball as well, so he was very good athletically. He can play multiple different things. He can learn things very quickly, and he was productive in his last 12-game season as a junior. He put up 117 tackles, 2 sacks, and 4 pass breakups in the linebacker position. So this guy was very productive in the high school arena as well. So I think this is a really interesting pickup. And like you said, I think this is a guy who can go out and kind of call the defense, control the defense, as you said, the green dot type of player. I think it's a really, really great pickup for the Wolverines.
Just a couple more thoughts here. I thought 4.0 was the maximum. So if you got a 4.8, this guy's obviously must be some kind of super genius. That doesn't even make sense to me. But then again, I'm not the sharpest tack in the drawer. But again, and one more point, though, to hit on in terms of what Sullivan can bring to the table. One of the things that these college coaches always have to keep in mind in recruiting is How long is this guy going to be here? Is he going to potentially transfer? Is some other team going to be able to poach him? If you bring in a guy who's really academically focused as well as football, this is a guy that's not going to want to uproot his entire academic career as well and potentially transfer to someone else. Keep that in mind too. A guy like Sullivan, you can bring in and develop. He can become the leader, the green dot of the defense, and you don't have to worry not nearly as much about him potentially transferring. So from that perspective as well, this is another really great sign for the Michigan Wolverines.